So you just got your shiny new One UI 4.0, and you're noticing it looks exactly like One UI 3.1. Well, I'm going to show you a couple tweaks, how I feel that the phone should be set up, and then we can debloat it. We can get rid of a whole bunch of Samsung stuff, or at least pre-installed system apps that I personally don't want, and maybe you also don't want on your phone, taking up space, or running rogue in the background, using battery life. So we can just hit start. We can accept those two because sending diagnostic data is optional. You can see the new loading animation there. Connect to the Wi-Fi. Again, the new loading animation on the button. Okay, so for this, I'm not going to copy anything because I want this to be as slipstream as possible for this video. Now I can sign into my Google account. Now it's gathering all the account info. Google services, I don't want any of it. So now for this part here, I am going to set up a pattern, just something quick, zigzags, because I am going to be customizing the lock screen a little bit, so I want to be able to see it. Now for me, I prefer to use all of the Samsung apps that I can as opposed to Google, mostly because of the shady practices that Google has been doing in Europe, where they were getting a lawsuit for infringing on privacy issues. So I'm going to use the Samsung calculator, Galaxy wearable because I have the Galaxy Buds, health, smart things because the whole house uses Samsung smart things, and Alexa, and that's good. I don't need anything else from all of this stuff here, so we can just hit OK. Now for the Samsung account, I'm just going to skip this for now, finish up, and there we go. That's our first look at One UI 4.0. Yeah, it's identical to One UI 3.1. Now there was some speculation between Samsung and Google regarding this beta because Google doesn't want phone distributors to be releasing any beta or doing software until there's a final build that comes out, and right now Android 11 has not fully come out. There's no final version that's been released, and some of the functions in Android 12 that are coming out are already native functions that Samsung has. So Samsung just wanted to use their own function, and Google essentially said, no, you have to wait until the beta comes out, and Samsung was like, oh, well, whoops, here's a beta. So we have Android 12 in beta at the same time that Pixels still have Android 12 in beta. So this right now is the earliest that we have ever seen a beta on a Samsung phone, and I'm not getting any slowdown at all. It works perfect. Like, every menu is buttery smooth. There's no lag or anything like some people were suggesting, but like I had mentioned in my first one, you got to do your factory resets. There's old system files from One UI 3.1 that are running rogue in the background causing havoc. So once you're on 4.0, do a factory reset, and then from there set everything up. And for me, at least, I'm not having a single issue. This is flawless. It's running perfect. It's as if it's a stable build. The only thing that I noticed in this is when I enable the swipe gestures, so we don't have that navigation bar at the bottom, I was having issues where swiping up to go home wouldn't work for some reason. I could still swipe left and right to go back, but from the bottom, it would not work until I restarted. But that might have been an issue with Nova Launcher because obviously Nova Launcher is not designed for Android 12 yet. And I haven't done any full testing with One UI Launcher, so that could just be my mileage varying. Anyway, that's essentially our first look. So we're going to go to settings, and the first thing that I want to do here, obviously change this stupid screen out timer so that way I have to stop clicking while I'm talking about nothing for too long. So now, dark mode settings. I want to turn on a schedule, and I want it to have to sunrise and sunset. So now during the day, we'll be in light mode, so that way we can have our screen brightness lower and still be able to see everything. And then at sunset, it will automatically switch to dark mode, so then we're not blinding ourselves, and again, using less battery life because we can have our brightness lower. So that'll give us the best of both worlds in that instance. Adaptive brightness, I'm just going to turn off because I'm recording, so I don't want this to be too blindingly bright in case you need to see something here. Motion smoothness, I'm just going to leave that alone because I want it to be adaptive, so that'll essentially make it 120 hertz. Screen mode, I want this to be on natural. I don't like the super blown out colors or anything. It makes for photo editing and everything off because then you're editing it to a simulated color space, whereas if it's on natural, that's the actual color of the display. Now for font size and style, I'm not going to touch anything. For screen zoom, I'm going to go all the way down. make that as small as possible. Now for the resolution, this is the trick that I showed in the S10 videos, S20 videos. I'm going to go to the resolution and I'm going to set it to 720p. And we're going to apply this, and because this is 4.0, this right now is a bug. It didn't actually change anything. It didn't make anything bigger. So before I continue, I'm just going to quickly restart the phone so you can actually see, oh, right, that. Okay. I guess I'll continue. So screen resolution 720p, easy mode off, edge panels off. I don't use that. It's just bloat right here. Swipe gestures, I want those on, so that's going to get rid of the navigation bar. And now we're going to be swiping from the sides to go back and swiping up to go home, or a long swipe up to go to the multitask menu. I'm going to hide the gestures and I'm going to hide the keyboard button just to clean it up a little bit. Now everything else in here looks pretty good, but side key, obviously, I want to change this to the power off menu. So now I can restart the phone. And now it's going to reboot into 720p. Normally it would do that live, but One UI Beta 1, it's beta, so it's not working right now. And we're back at the launcher. And now everything is 720p. So I don't know if you're going to notice like an immediate difference because I've changed the display size, or rather the screen zoom. So normally this would be 720p. Everything is in like 55 plus center mode. But you know, I'm not there yet. I'm not that old. So we're just going to turn that off to favor my youth. And we're essentially done here in the display settings. So we don't need to do anything else in here. Now we can go to notifications, and I will go up to the brief pop-up settings. Now this is just kind of like RGB flash, but I love it. So the edge lighting, you can do like your RGB nonsense or whatever, but I actually like this one right here. It's very subtle. And it just kind of makes like a sonar thing or whatever come off. So that's pretty good. And then the color, I want to change to this light blue color. It's almost like a cool white. Plus with the whole theme and everything that I'm going to be doing later, it's going to make a lot of sense. So that's good. I want that while the screen is off, so that way I can see notifications as they come up. So we're done there, and we don't need anything else in here. We can go down to lock screen, and now in here are some of the features that I wanted to actually show in the lock screen, which is why I made that passcode. So the always on display, you can have that on or off. I normally just keep it off just to save battery life. It doesn't use a lot. Plus this phone gets absurd battery life to begin with. It's just, I don't know. I'm literally not looking at the phone. And if I want to look at the phone, I can just tap the screen. Notifications are icon only. That's good. I like that. The shortcuts right here is what I want to change. I don't need a shortcut to the camera because I can just double press the power button and that'll get me to the camera really quickly. So for this one here, I want to change this to the flashlight. So now we can just swipe to go to the flashlight. Very simple. And then we can just double tap the screen and swipe the flashlight again. Now, depending on what you do most, you can also change the phone to whatever you want, but it doesn't really matter for me. I'm just gonna leave that the way it is. We can go to advanced and link to Windows. I do use Samsung DeX. I do use the S Pen. I don't have one, but I want one. So I'm just gonna leave that on. Labs, I do want to enable multi-window for all apps. So it'll force unsupported apps to use the multi-window because this phone has a giant screen, so why not utilize all of that space? Motions and gestures, this is where you can turn on the double tap to turn on the screen, or you can double tap to turn it off. You can also keep it on while viewing, so it'll know that you're looking at the phone and it'll keep it on, or just when you lift it up, it'll wake up the phone. So that is all good just the way it is. Game launcher, I don't want that on. That is the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. Let's add another program just for games when you could just make a folder. Stupid. Now under apps, we're gonna have tons of apps that we can't remove, but I'm gonna get into that in a minute. General management. Now this is where the keyboard stuff comes in. So Samsung keyboard, we're gonna go to the settings, and just to show what it looks like before, right there, that's a Samsung keyboard with the individual island keys, and it looks super dated and I hate it and it's disgusting. We're gonna clean that up a little bit. And we're gonna go to the Samsung keyboard settings, and we're just gonna go down to theme. And now this one here, we're gonna pick solid light. So now it's already looking significantly more modern, and this will automatically switch light and dark mode when sunrise and sunset switches. So now we have a light and dark keyboard, much more modern, looks significantly better. Now the only thing that really sucks with this is you only have 2 layout options, and the period being so close to the spacebar, I constantly hit that all the time. So the simpler solution for me is just simple, and it gets rid of that. So now when I want to hit one, I have to hit this key first. Whereas this, they are available, so it does make it faster for typing, but I hit that so much, it's just become more of an annoyance than anything. So I would rather hit an extra key to get to hit a period than to accidentally hit it between multiple words over and over and over when I'm trying to type fast. Now, that's the layout, but I want the number keys off to keep it very small, so that way I have more of the text of or whatever I'm doing above. Okay, and now everything else in there is pretty good. We don't need to do anything. So now the keyboard is all fixed up. Now finally we can go to About Phone and then Software Information. Now in here you can see that we're on One UI 4.0, Android 12. The baseband is 4ZUID, which is beta 1, and this build number right here, we're just going to tap this 7 times. Now we're going to throw our zigzags in there to unlock developer options. And now at the very bottom we have developer options. Now I'm just going to go all the way down. I want to speed up the animations a little bit. So right here, window animation scale, I'm going to change that to 0.5, and I'm going to do that for all of these. So now all 3 are 0.5. Now this is the part where I switched it to 720p. So now we can do 512, which is going to simulate the same DPI as the 1440p resolution, but now we're using 720p and literally using half of the battery life to display graphics on the screen. We've not only gained a huge performance increase with games, we've also increased battery life, because now we have the same amount of screen real estate available as the 1440p, and we're still maintaining 120 hertz, but we're literally using half of the processing power and battery life used for that processing power to render everything that we're seeing on the display. At this point, the phone is essentially done. This is what I feel the phone should be set up from right out of the box. It's the best experience, you have the best layout. There's some more tweaks and stuff you can do in these quick tiles here, but these are all subjective. Usually I like to only have one so it doesn't scroll left and right, so that way the quick tiles are actually quick. They're all on one screen. But now we can get into the customization. We're gonna need Nova Launcher, okay? And then we're gonna need the Flight icon pack. Okay, so those are done. Now we can start customizing the Nova Launcher stuff. So we'll open Nova 7, and we want it to follow the system theme, so that way it's automatic light and dark mode. I like these rounded edge icons just from stock, so I'm not going to change anything there. And the search window and everything or whatever. So we're just going to click next. So now we're in Nova Launcher 7. So like always, I like a super clean layout, so I don't want to have anything. So I'm just going to get rid of all these icons. So now we just have the dock and the search, but I don't want the search either. So I'm going to go to settings. Right here, we can select the default, so we can change that to Nova 7. So now it's always going to pick this launcher by default. Long press, go back to settings, and we're going to go to home screen. Now in here, search bar placement, none. The page indicator, I don't want that on, and that's good. Now we can go back, we can go to the app drawer settings. I don't want the swipe indicator, so that's already unchecked. The icons, I want this 6 by 9. The frequently used apps, I want off. The fast scroll bar, I want off. We can go back to home screen, go to dock. This is kind of subjective. This is completely up to you whether or not you actually like this being there. At least right now, I kind of like having the dock background. It's kind of neat. So these bottom corners really don't matter because the screen is so curved, you don't see it regardless. But these two corners right here with that slight round, kind of like that. Transparency, I want that to be about 50%. And then for the color, I'm gonna pick this like neutral, cool color. So there we go, that's all good. Now we can go back, and we can go back. We can actually just swipe to go home, and there we go. So that's essentially the new layout so far. Now when we open the app drawer, every single app is all in one place. There's no scrolling or anything, they're just all right there. Now keeping in mind that I don't have any of the apps that I use installed right now, so normally there would be a lot more, which makes all of these pre-installed apps like Netflix and Google Play Movies, those are kind of in the way. So we're going to debloat the phone, but to finish this up, I need to download an app from the Galaxy Store. So I actually do have to sign into my Samsung account. Now in here, it's called ThemePark. Now we're going to download this app here. It's downloaded, it's done, and we can open this. Now in here, we're going to be creating a few themes. The keyboard, I'm just going to leave alone because the white and dark theme match pretty well with the Nord color palette that I want to be going with. But the quick panel is where I want to start customizing things. So we're going to create a new one here, and we're going to go to color. Now on the computer, we're going to want to open up nordtheme.com, which is just a Nord color palette that you can essentially implement on anything. So for this right here, light mode. So for the light mode, I want to pick a light color. So for that, I'm going to be picking the Snowstorm color palette. So in here, we just want to type in D8DEE9. So that's going to be our first color. We're going to hit OK. and now it's instantly going to have more of a cooler tone, and these are suggested colors right here in the background. Now the only downfall to this app is I wish it was a little bit more intuitive to which colors we're actually changing. So this one, let's just switch this to blue. So we don't want to do that one. X off of that, we'll pick this one here, pick blue. Okay, so that's the icon color. So that's the one that we actually want to change. We're going to change this to the lightest tone in the Polar Night palette, which is going to be 4C566A. Now we hit OK. All right, so now we can test that out. Enter a name, Nord. Now we can pick this one here and we can apply. I forgot to do the dark mode, deadly. So we'll just apply that just to check really quick, and you can see that it applied, but it is really dark. So we're gonna have to change that a little bit. So for that one, I will probably use the darkest color in Snowstorm instead. That's looking pretty good. Now we can switch to the dark mode here. And again, right here, we can pick that dark color palette that we just previously had typed in. And that's looking pretty good, actually, right there. I'm pretty content with that. Right there, that's going to be our light theme. That's going to be our dark theme. So we can save this. This is Nord again. That's not confusing at all. Okay, so we'll apply this one. Now we can delete this one. There, so now we have this theme created. Very clean, very minimalist. Now we can switch to dark mode just to check that out. And it's looking great. The icons, we don't really have to do anything because we're going to be using custom icons. The volume panel for this right here, this color that we just previously used, which is good. Change those colors around a little bit right there, perfect. And switch to the dark mode, and again we're going to pick the darkest color there and just play with the colors a little bit, and yeah, I'm fairly content with that. So we'll just keep it simple right now. There's tons and tons of tuning that you can do to each individual color. Now we can test the volume, and it comes up with that whole new panel, and it's themed to match that Nord color palette. We can go down, select dark mode, and now we instantly have the dark mode color scheme. So now we just need icons and wallpaper. Okay, so the other icon pack that I need here is Delta icon pack. So we can long press, go to settings. We're gonna go to the look and feel, and then in here, the icon style at the top. We're gonna select this one, and we're gonna pick our icon pack by going to icon theme. Now in here, we can pick Delta, and that's gonna pick all of the Delta icons for the apps that are available. So now you can see that we have more minimalist icons, nice muted colors, but these ones right here, I want to actually change to the flight icon. So I'm going to long press, and I'm going to go to edit. I'm going to tap on the icon. I'm going to go to flight light, and I'm just going to pick all of these white icons for these ones here. Now, lastly, we just have to change the wallpaper. So I have this available in the wallpapers archive. So we're just gonna pick an image. We're gonna pick this one here, set, and I'm gonna set it to both home screen and lock screen. Now we have a nice, cool, muted tones for the Nord theme on the lock screen. Quick access to the flashlight. We can double press to go to the camera, unlock to a very clean home screen, swipe up for the app drawer, swipe down for the notifications. All of the quick tiles and everything are all customized. We can go to settings and go to software information. You can see One UI 4.0, Android 12, everything is up to date. And now we have a very elegant minimalist theme for this phone. And then right here, we can check out the dark mode. Again, the app drawer and everything changes. The keyboard changes with it. So we have a nice dark keyboard to complement the dark theme. And then again, just going back here, we have a light keyboard that matches the light theme. So now that we have our shiny new One UI 4.0 and we have it looking fantastic, let's jump into how you debloat this. We're gonna be doing all of this through ADB, but we need an app first before we can actually do this. We're gonna find APK Analyzer and we're going to install this. And now these are all of the applications that are on the phone itself. One app, for instance, is Netflix. So we can just start searching and just type in Netflix, and you can see that it comes up right there, and it's com.netflix.media client. So that's what we're gonna wanna search for in ADB to remove it. So now we can go over to the computer. So now on the computer here, because we already have ADB system-wide, which I showed you how to do in the last video, we can just type in ADB shell. Now we have access to the phone directly, so we can just do pm uninstall. Now if we want to keep the user data, enter a flag for K, but in this instance I don't. I just want them completely gone, so we'll do / user 0. Now that's going to be the base command that we're doing for every single app. On that APK Analyzer app that we have downloaded, we know that Netflix is com.netflix.media client. As soon as we hit enter, we see success. So now if we jump back over here to the phone, we can go back home. We can go to settings, apps, and then in here, we will search these apps, and you can see that nothing comes up because it has fully removed Netflix from this, which was a system installed app that you could only disable. And I can delete every single system app that I'm not going to use, and it's going to be taking up space on the phone. Like Samsung Free. Right here, you can see that we can't even disable this app. So again, let's just go back here and let's just type in free. Now it's com.samsung.android.app.spage. So let's jump back to the computer and we're gonna enter that exact same command that we did before, which was pm uninstall -- user0. And now we're gonna enter that APK, which is com.samsung.android.app.spage. Now, that's completely gone. So we can jump back over to the phone here and we can go back over to the apps. And now let's just type in free for that Samsung Free, and you can see that it is completely gone. And that was an app that we couldn't even disable. That's gone. It is no longer taking up space on this phone at all. Like, you can even see in here that it's gone. And this is the free version of Nova Launcher because I didn't install the Prime version, just for the sake of keeping everything quick for this video. So I can't actually hide apps from the app drawer, and it is gone. Now, the only final step here is to obviously use Nova Launcher Prime, and then I can hide the icons for, say, the icon packs and things that I'm not readily going to be using, just like System, where I can quickly access it from the notifications panel. So I don't need an icon in the app drawer itself. But that's basically it. Now I can go through and I can debloat this entire phone. I can restore my backup and everything, and that's it. You can fully enjoy your One UI 4.0 on a very minimalist theme, completely debloated without having root access. Hopefully you found something useful here. Like the video if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't like it, that's cool. No hard feelings. Subscribe, that's awesome. That always helps out. You can join the members program if you want to also support the channel. That would be awesome. Or, you know, don't do any of it. I'm not telling you what to do.